Kevin Feige just got exposed, as well as Marvel and their movie-making machine and how they make their movies by a former Marvel writer. In fact, the creator of that X-Men 97 show, which was much revered. So, we're going to take a look at this. Apparently, he's incredibly toxic. The meetings are awful. It's just a horrible place to work. It's an interesting turn of events. So, let's dive into this today. Please do hit subscribe if you're new here. Turn those bell notifications on. The thing which is interesting about this is this writer has been saying a lot of these things for a long time and hasn't been sued. So, I mean, we take it with a pinch of salt, but you'd think someone would sue them by now if, you know, if there were grounds to, if it wasn't true, if he didn't have receipts. So, I don't know. It's not like Marvel's not litigious, is it? It's not like they didn't try and get Google. What was it? They tried to get Google to strong arm and expose the people of a Reddit because they didn't like the leaks that were happening, even though the leaks were true. Wild. So, yeah, Marvel would do that if they could. Doesn't look like they can. So anyway, let's take a look. This is fascinating. I say fascinating. It's just interesting more than anything. But anyway, there was a really long X post from Beau DeMayo, who was the creator of X-Men 97. And he pulled back the curtain on what he described as a dysfunctional and demoralizing creative meeting, or creative meetings, should I say, with Kevin Feige at Marvel Studios. So just basically, it's about the creative process, and it goes some way, I think, to explaining and revealing why they're so bad. And you can start to sort of piece it together and be like, wow, yeah, okay, it does make sense. To me, it makes sense anyway. So, quick bit of background. Who is Beau DeMayo? Well, he gained acclaim for his work on Marvel projects, including writing for Moon Knight, leading X-Men 97, which was obviously the revival of the animated series. He was also one of the individuals that had, he pitched a Blade script, which was Blade but the Raid, which is what I've been saying for ages. So, just saying, stole my idea. No, he didn't, obviously. Parallel thoughts a thing. But it's interesting. And then he got fired, right? He got fired for egregious misconduct, including claims of like sexual misconduct and unprofessionalism. So yeah, he did get fired. That is important. That's super, super important. But since then, Beau DeMayo has been going mental on Marvel, just revealing everything to them. Revealing absolutely everything about them. Sorry. So, you know, he now positions himself as an advocate for creators, arguing Marvel treats them as disposable, whilst prioritizing executive control. DeMayo has hinted at impending legal revelations in the past. We don't know quite what's going on with that. It looked like they were being... it looked like Beau DeMayo was suing them, or vice versa, etc. It was kind of all over the place, really. But here is one of the tweets. And I just thought it was... Well, here is the tweet, should I say. And it's really... It's interesting. It's a long thread. So, Beau said this: to those asking why I'm not so hard on Superman, the answer is, I've never worked with Gunn or DC. Like Matt Shakman and the writers of Fantastic Four, I've sat in the creative meetings at Marvel Studios. They're horrible. You basically sit in a room with Kevin Feige and Lou Despacito and try to pitch your movie while also realising that Kevin just wants you to dictate his rushed thoughts. Victoria... presume he means Victoria Alonso. Victoria used to be in these meetings, but Kevin and Lou had so mistreated her that in one of my Blade meetings, she just showed up with sugar cookies she'd bake to help improve morale. You're even told not to try to pitch ideas from the comics because Lou isn't a big comic guy and it'll turn him off. Now, we know Marvel has a habit of doing that when it comes to comics. They've openly admitted to that. All of the writers, in fact, have admitted to that. They have a habit of hiring people that have not read any comics, and they do it on purpose. So I can believe all of this. You sit and talk about craft and story and characters, only to have Kevin and Lou say, yeah, well, all we need to do is make sure it's fun, and etc., etc. Do you, though? How's that working out for you, bro? How's that working out for you, Broheim? It's not going so well for Marvel now, is it? There's no spark, there's no vision. Marvel is a slaughterhouse factory where you watch fresh meat get spoiled as it slowly makes its way through the assembly gears of mediocre thinking and this weird hatred for their own product. This is why Robert Liefeld isn't just some bitter old man. Talking about the comic book writers is met with open contempt. I had to fight to get the Luolds involved on X-Men 97, and even then, the dismissive news with which Dana Vasquez Eberhardt spoke about them, basically telling me the OG creators were meant to be seen, not heard, to appease fans. I wanted to co-write an episode with them, and that was Dana's response. I even remember wanting to talk to Chris Claremont and being shut down, or wanting Joe Madureira to do posters, I'm butchering this, just as I was scolded for being too friendly with fans or coming off too much as one. This was in a meeting where I was pitching that we could use Blade as a chance to pick up the dangling threads from Doctor Strange, where it came to Wanda and the Darkhold. We could use Varney and the Darkhold cultists. One of my drafts opened with Deacon Frost tricking some British explorers to trek up to Mount Wundagore, where he does blood magic to reveal the vampire spell used by Varney and his followers during the days of Kull. It'd start tying some of these threads together, sorry. Oh no, he did say trying. I even had same monsters from Doctor Strange show up to kill the explorers before Deacon reveals he's a vampire and kills them. Up until that point, he'd been covered against the cold and daylight. This was set before Doctor Strange 2, so a lot of the stuff played ironically, while also having Frost give us some details about Chthon, who we only glimpsed in Doctor 2. To Kevin's credit, he liked the idea, as well as my pitch that magic is to Blade what snakes are to Indiana Jones. He hates magic. But then Lou felt it was too comic book, while Mahershala bumped on there being magic in the film tonally, and then I watched as them and Nate Moore picked it apart and we were off to a new draft. It's a broken machine, so I can see where Matt and his team probably had great ideas, only for Marvel's arrogance to destroy them. Jeez. Look, is there any truth behind this? Who knows? But Marvel hasn't sued him. Marvel hasn't told him to take it down. Marvel hasn't released any statements. Kevin Feige hasn't done anything. There's been no legal recourse. And this guy has said some awful things about Marvel. And it's not like he's small time, you know. Lots of people read his tweets. You know, 341,000. It's not a small time, right? Like, it's not a super small time. So I can genuinely believe some of this stuff. And it's not like Marvel's MO isn't just slapstick humour, a bit of fun here, a bit of fun there. That's basically their MO, isn't it? So I can believe this. What do you think? Thoughts down below.